times when the markets could make big unpredictable moves. And why should we be there? Is there a rule that says we have to trade every day? Just like a poker player closes out his cards when he doesn't have an advantage, you don't have to trade every day. Okay, a bookie generally has to accept your bet. A casino has to be open all the time or they lose customers. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. If you're not feeling good, if you want to take a vacation, what do? Close out your positions, go away. In fact, that's one of the best things that you can do. Whether you're making money or whether you're having some tough times, you got to take rest. You got to do R&R. That's one of the most important things for a trader, probably for any profession, but definitely for a trader. Got to take time off. Okay? And lastly, what happens if the market begins to move against you? Well, a casino generally can't kick you out if you start making money. Yeah, if you're a professional gambler and they find out about you and you're making money consistently, they're going to try and bar you from the casino. But that's rare. Most of the time, they won't even know about you if you do it right. But when you trade like a bookie, if things start not to work, what do? You follow the market and adjust your position until the market finally quiets down and stays within the range you predicted. So even if things don't go right initially, you have enough money in your account to adjust. Okay, let me go into a couple other rules before we get into our next section, which is going to discuss the free trade. One sideline point I want to make is that when you put up your money, and you have to have at least $10,000 to do these positions in the right way, when you put up your money, ask the brokerage firm to put all of your funds in a treasury bill. Okay, that means that all the money that you're using for this will gain interest. Okay, nice little sideline benefit. Let me tell you a second benefit, and this is probably mostly for people with accounts of $100,000 or higher. When you sell a substantial amount of premium, even before its profits, you can get interest on that money. You can get interest on that money. You can either put that money into a treasury bill or try and work a deal with your firm to get some of the interest on those funds. Okay, so that means, let's say, for some reason, you beginning of the summer, right here, and you used our trade like a booking strategy, but let's say, although it's impossible, I've never seen it happen, let's say the time value didn't decay, or something went wrong, or you made a mistake, or whatever. You closed your positions out a few months later, and they broke even, including commissions. You just made enough money to cover your commissions. If you had listened to me and invested your money plus your premium in a treasury bill, what would have happened? You would have made higher than treasury bill interest. You would have made, number one, treasury bill interest on all the funds that you had with your brokerage firm. And number two, if you collected the extra premium, again, this is for larger accounts, you could have also gained treasury bill income on that premium too, and maybe made 150% of treasury bill premium, even though you didn't make any profits. Now, the nice thing is that obviously if you do it right, you can make your profits too. So you can really have your cake and eat it too. You can have your money invested, gain the treasury bill interest, and you can make your bookie profits, which is really, really good. Gives you a great advantage over other people that are just investing their money without getting interest or just putting it in treasury bills. So you really have two ways of doing it. Okay, let's also talk about computers. People have come to me quite often and said, well, I read your rules in the book and they're easy to do, but why don't I just look at a computer and have the computer do it for me? Well, let me tell you the problem with that and how we use computers. The problem with that is the state of the art in computer technology is still not as good as the human brain. And there is still not a computer that can do these positions as well as you could just by following the rules. Now, eventually there will be, but the state of the art in computers in other games that they've worked on for many years, such as bridge, such as chess, is that still the best bridge players and chess players beat those computers consistently. But what do we use computers for? They are a tool to help us. Computers are a tool to help us. And the top chart is courtesy of Don Fishbeck and Fishbeck Financial, which is, he has an excellent computer program that tells us the probability of profit on our neutral positions. And what we do is we plug in our position, the 6-month highs, 6-month lows, and the options we're going to sell. We plug it in, and we determine from his computer formula what our probability of profit is. And an example of position that we had previously in our charts was selling the 106 put and 118 call. We plugged it in, and we found that this position had a 94% probability of profit. It had a 94% probability that this position would remain in the range. So obviously it was a position that was an excellent one, and we would recommend doing more than our usual amount when it's that high. Okay. The bottom computer program is from FutureSource, and what we do is we determine, the computer determines actually, over different time periods, what the profit or potential loss of that position will be if the market makes a move. So for example, the very dotted line, which is the lower line, will show us in 1 month what the premium of this position will be. Premium's on the left bar, and the futures price is on the bottom. So we use the computer to tell us about where that position will be over the next 30 to 60 days. It gives us a good picture of what we'll be making or losing. And this is another use of the computer. We can, instead of graphically what our profits will be, we can print out a table to show us what our profit